Glad there's a delay. Good morning, Lisa and Harry here from Case on Cloud Accounting. We thought we'd just drop in and give you a quick summary of the 2020 budget this week and what that means to your small business. So we're going to run through the quick points, the ones that we think are probably most important for a small business. We're not going to cover everything. We're just going to go through the highlights.
Brilliant. So point number one is the tax-free allowance is to remain at $12,500 per year. So no change here.
A bit of a shame, but it'd be quite nice if it was a bit higher. But there we go. National living wage for over 25s goes up to £8.72 per hour from £8.21 per hour for this year. The national living wage that for employing somebody who say does 35 hours a week rises from £14,942 per year to £15,870 per year, which is an increase of £928.
Basic rate, higher rate and additional rate thresholds are all to remain the same this year. No changes in any of those as well.
Now, the national insurance primary threshold goes up from £8,632 per year to £9,500 per year. That's the point at which employees start paying national insurance. So this will save them about £104 per year in employees' national insurance.
But rather oddly, the national insurance secondary threshold is up at a different rate. So it's up to $8,788 this year from its original $8,632. Now, this is the first time it's been different to the primary threshold for several years.
Yeah.
And this is the point in which the employer pays Class 1 national insurances. Now, what this means for an optimal director's pay is it actually becomes $732 per month, aka based on the secondary threshold.
Not a huge amount difference to the current 719.
There's not much
still,
change there.
Every little helps, doesn't it?
So basically, the employee receives a tax break and the employer doesn't receive
so
much.
A little bit. Class 2 national insurances are up a teeny tiny bit from £3 per week to £3.05 per week for the self-employed. So that's an increase from £156 per year to £158.60 per year, an increase in total of about £2.60. So I think most people can probably afford that.
Employer's allowance is quite a nice one, is up to £4,000 for the year.
Now that's quite nice.
That's a generous one because it's up from £3,000. Now it still only applies to businesses with 2 employees or more. But what this does actually mean is that a business should be able to employ 4 workers on national living wage without paying any employer national insurance. Pretty good outcome.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Now, coronavirus is obviously hitting a lot of people at the moment and is forecast to get much worse over the coming months. So for employers with up to 250 staff members, they're going to get help paying their SSP from the government. So at the moment, if you have an employee who is paid SSP, you have to fund that from your business. But going forward, just for this interim period, HMRC has said that the government the government said that they will pay for this. So HMRC will refund SSP for anyone who is off in relation to the coronavirus for 14 days with SSP starting from day 1. So it covers those who actually have the virus or those who've been advised to self-isolate regardless of whether they're showing symptoms or not. Now, the same SSP rules still apply. They should still provide a sick note, and sick notes will be available from the 111 number and from doctors, but you still need to meet that provide that sick note to meet the rules for SSP, and then you can claim, you have to pay your employee, and then you can claim that back from the government through payroll.
Takes a little bit of pressure off the employer, like that one.
Yeah, it does. Now, what that does actually mean is that the payroll providers are going to have to make some pretty quick changes to the way payroll works if you were to be able to recover that through payroll. So we watch at the moment to see whether we can recover that through payroll, whether the payroll providers will make those quick changes to their software, or whether it's a separate claim that we have to apply for from HMRC. So we'll let you know as those rules become more clear in how it's going to operate.
So, employer also pays no Class 1 national insurance for the first year of employing a veteran. So, it's an incentive to get them back into work.
Now, point 11, corporation tax was expected to reduce to 17% this year, but that's unfortunately going to remain the same at 19%. So whilst the government have been generous in some of their tax breaks, not so much on corporation tax.
Arguably, it's to fund some of the above.
Yeah, possibly.
But actually, on the flip side, R&D tax credit is increasing to 13% from 12%. So a little win there.
Yeah. Now, HMRC is being instructed to be more generous on agreeing time to pay arrangements on taxes due to pressures caused by the coronavirus. So if you find you're struggling to pay your VAT, for example, or your PAYE because your cash flow has been hit by the coronavirus issue, then you can talk to HMRC about agreeing a time to pay arrangement, and they should be more generous with how they allow you to pay that over time.
I believe they're being more lenient on fines and penalties with that.
We shall see.
We'll see.
They should be. I suspect you still get an interest charge for the late payment, but they'll allow you to pay it over a longer period. So the one thing that government is usually really clear on is they are not an alternate lender. But obviously at the moment, so many people, we're starting to see clients coming through that are saying that their business is being affected by the coronavirus and the slowdown in high street spending. People are not booking events, people are waiting before they're employing staff. There's lots of things going on that is causing the average day business, our businesses all just take a slight hit on those. So
basically
watch out for that.
Everything on hold, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, little one here, there's simplified... let me try again. The flat rate work from home allowance, aka the simplified work from home allowance,
for
employees who have been required to work from home. This has actually been increased to £6 per week from the original £4 per week. They haven't actually specified anything about the self-employed. They specified employees in that. But it does look as though they have increased to the similar sort of rate, haven't they?
So as employers, you should be encouraging your employees to claim those through expenses and then paying those to them. So again, it's not a huge amount, but it's worth it. If you're a director, then what you can do is calculate the actual cost of you working from home based on your percentage of hours worked of the week in the rooms that you use and the actual expenses that you're claiming, which will be far higher than the £6 per week allowance.
Certainly.
So point number 15 is business rates won't be affected, or the business rate changes won't really affect most of the smaller business employers, but it's targeting retail, cinemas, music venues, hospitality, leisure, pubs and local newspapers. So we're not seeing anything really happening that's going to change our small business rates for small business.
And finally, going to talk about that. Now, there's no change to the registration threshold of 85,000. So this remains exactly the same as it was in the current year. And actually, VAT has had quite a few changes, but they're mostly designed at helping an individual's money go further. So some of the areas they're targeting, such as the tampon tax and books and digital publications, all designed actually to make an individual's money last for longer.
So that's it from us today. We just wanted to give you a quick run through of the main issues or the main points that were raised in the budget and how they might affect you as a small business owner. Now, as we said, we haven't covered absolutely everything. There's a small business rates tapered relief that we need to have a look at in more detail to see how that's actually going to work and how we're going to be able to make the claim for that rates grant. But that only affects tiny small businesses that already have 100% rates relief. So we need to look into that a little further to work out how we're going to claim that if we have small business rates relief as employers. So that's it from us today. Thank you for joining us, and if you have any queries, please drop them in the comments and we'll add our answers to those later. Speak to you soon.
Bye.